This is an example of using Kindo's WhiteRabbitNeo, as well as Kindo's Dev Copilot, to be able to aid pen testers, bug bounty searchers, threat intelligence researchers in performing permitted offensive security and red team analysis. In this case, I've got an nmap scan of scammy.org. Scammy.org is the nmap projects page for exposing known vulnerable services and other types of potential avenues for attack so that users, individuals, researchers, and even tooling can better calibrate their tools to look for such kind of vulnerabilities. So we'll look for vulnerabilities in this page, and we'll use the corpus of data that WhiteRabbitNeo has and has been trained on to be able to look for known CVEs that we could then be used for creating a proof of concept attack. Now this is interesting. This is a vulnerability in the web page, and specifically within Apache, in the web server host that we could use and potentially remotely exploit. So I have the data of that specific vulnerability here. This comes from NVD, and this is just the security advisory, specifically on what this vulnerability is and how it can be used. I'm going to use this as RAG data to help better customize a custom bespoke attack against this site. And while I'm using a file specifically of this that's local, this is just a wget from what you would get from the MITRE CVE and NVD database. You could just as easily, if you're using the Kindo's web version, actually link the URL there and have this done automatically for you. I use C# a lot, so I'm going to use C# as the language of my choice here. But WhiteRabbitNeo, again, supports over 100 programming languages and dozens of different types of scripting languages, etc., to be able to compose these types of attacks. Now, given all this data that we have here, the last and most arduous part, typically, of any kind of bug bounty or pen testing exercise is summarizing your findings. Kindo allows us to actually mix and match different types of models for use in a specific workload. So while WhiteRabbitNeo is really good at performing DevSecOps technical analysis, it isn't necessarily as good as models like GPT-4 or Claude at specifically summarizing these findings in human legible format. In the form of composed like data, bug bounty reports, etc. So let's utilize one of those models to summarize my findings. Now let's say I'm a threat intelligence. And we will use specifically Claude Sonnet. In this case, we can then use this data as supplements to any kind of research that we're doing on the target, and appending that with our code example here that we could actually run in Visual Studio Code if we wanted to, and we're permitted to actually perform red team analysis on this target to be able to automate any kind of incident response, automate a bug bounty report and submission, any kind of report where we need to be able to convert the tedium that we've had the LLM here actually remove for researching and understanding a vulnerability, generating a proof of concept code, and then finally summarizing our findings so that any human can read it.